An eargasm of learning and a no-fuss show. Welcome to the Creative Talk Podcast, where you can learn straightforward topics about branding, digital entrepreneurship, online business, and many more with your charming host, John Santos, along with inspiring entrepreneurs, creators, and thought leaders worldwide.
Today we're talking about Instagram. First off, just in your mind, before we kind of look into these 5 points that we want to cover off to how to make your brand stand out on Instagram, just so you guys that know that are on Clubhouse right now, Jan and I are on Zoom. But once we've just finished going through these points, he will come into the room. And if any of you have anything you want to add or anything you want to say, then feel free to come up and share whether you've got a question or whether you have something you want to share. Maybe you're an expert in this field as well, because there's room for everybody. So just in terms of Instagram, just tell us how big a platform is Instagram, and what plans do they actually have moving forwards? Because this is really interesting. I know that you're like a little genius who's always looking to work away and stay ahead of the game. Tell us about Instagram in terms of how you see it now and where you see it going.
Well, first of all, the reason why we craft this masterclass, specifically masterclass number 3 for Instagram, is its connection to Clubhouse. You know, there's a statement here from an interview from Clubhouse, and they said that Instagram, the platform, social media platform, helps verify users, meaning it's a checker for users and the platform itself to check authenticity, and it is an essential part of Clubhouse. So that's a statement. And on the other side, it makes perfect sense because, and this is based on our experience since, Clubhouse started, when you hear someone speak and you're really captivated, the next thing you will do is to check for authenticity, and hence the Instagram link. So when you go to that Instagram account, you will see a glimpse of that person that you heard. Now, that's where the disconnection starts. Some users, when they do the jump, they would say, hey, I see a different person here. Is this the right person? So, there's a big disconnection. And some of them, wow, this is the person that I've been listening to. I can see more value here. So that's one step closer to a collaboration, a deal, or, a lead.
Yeah, I don't know who it was that said that, it can take 4 or 5 hours of content before someone wants to go and buy from you or have a conversation with you. And you're right. I mean, it's the next logical step that you go and check someone out. Even if you're not on Clubhouse, I'm going to go check this person out. When was the last time you Googled yourself? In fact, Jan, can you let me share the screen?
Yes, one moment.
But that's all right. I wonder if you actually Google me. I'm always curious what actually comes up. The first thing that comes up is speaker, coach, author. Actually, my website comes up, which is good. And then Twitter. I'm actually looking to see where Instagram comes up. Our YouTube channel comes up. I mean, I have a lot of content. My LinkedIn comes up. Yeah. So, what's really interesting is we live in a very visual world, right? So for those of you that are watching on Clubhouse, go and click on myself or Jan, whichever one you want to do, and just go and have a look. What I love about the work that Jan does is, he genuinely walks the walk in terms of, I know loads of people, you don't have to do this if you work in branding. You don't have to, have a website yourself. You don't, but I just really love the way I'm looking at your branding right now, Jan. I just really, really like the way it stands out, and the yellow. And obviously we've got a post on here that has had nearly 250,000.
Yeah, it's midway. Yeah.
Yeah, which is fantastic, And I see all the people that you're now working with and helping them with the brand. I love, there's an image there, how to create a powerful brand there's you with your kind of hand on your cheek. And it's just really well, cleverly, thought out. And, mine is different, in colors and branding, but it's all just perfectly represented. It's so appealing to look at. You can't help. It's like being a child in a sweet shop.
Well, Pete, let me just interject really fast. The main reason for that is, according to Instagram, and this is this year's update, they are still a visual platform. Even though there's a big transition towards video, and we all know that they're moving towards long form and short form video, like TikTok and YouTube, but they still are they still is a visual platform, and that's coming from them, meaning everything aesthetics should be on top priority if you're using Instagram. That's the
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, I just love, I'm proud of it. I wanted it to represent me, when I see it, and it has taken time and it has evolved. Whether it's the clients that we've worked with, we've got loads of testimonials on there. We really showcase our podcast. We really showcase what I do, being on stage. There's stuff with me in front of the chalkboard, and I couldn't do this on my own. Your kinship, your mentorship with this it's really made such a big difference. So let's kind of get stuck into these major points that we want to cover off, and we talk about how to make your brand stand out on Instagram. You've already kind of alluded to this, but first focus on the visual. Instagram, yeah, it's still a visual platform, as you just said, but just talk to us a little bit about that, just in terms of the profile photo and the fonts used and the color palette. Just talk to us about that.
Well, Instagram is rewarding creators. It's rewarding brand, so to speak. And this is from the latest update of Instagram. So you need to dress up, so to speak, your Instagram account according to your brand. And I'm not going to be focusing on technicalities in branding, because that's going to take like a whole 6 masterclass. We are going to be focusing on not the shallow part, but an essential part in this journey. So a visual platform, and the perfect thing to do for a visual platform is create something that captivates your users. It's not something pleasing, but it's an eye grabber. That's what we call it, an eye grabber. That's the reason why your account, Pete, with strong red, regardless of what the internal aspect of the brand is, we're not going to be touching that, but you would see that you are energetic, you're going out, you're speaking to people. There's one video here that you're on, I think it's a, marketplace or something, and you have a mic, you're talking to people. Those energy, it needs to be transformed in something visual so that your tribe, the people around you, can feel and understand your message.
Yeah, what's interesting about that post actually that you're just referring to, I mean, that was only posted this morning and it's had nearly 11,000 views. But that didn't happen overnight, right? But it is such an important element of this whole process. So what else on that as well, just in terms of focusing on the visuals?
It needs to start on the top. Like there's a reason why the format of Instagram is created that way. So a good profile photo, something that really would show who you are. Again, it's a digital checker. It's a online portfolio, so to speak. So have like a decent profile photo that your face is visible. Again, the reason why people would really benefit from that is because they are looking, who is this person? Who is this person that captivated me on Clubhouse? So they jump, they should see a solid profile photo. And then we touch the combination of your color palette, your style, your vibe. Again, I'm not being technical because, let's face it, it's simple things that would really make a difference. And entrepreneurs out there, brands out there, they don't have time to dig in those technicalities. Simple stuff that really makes a difference. Have a good photo, put it on your primary photo, understand, get everything cohesively and consistently done, style, vibe, color, put it all together, make an impact.
Hey, presto. And then let's talk about the second point of these five points we want to make in this little masterclass, just in terms of having a clear voice. What do you mean by that?
So now this point number 2, it becomes one level higher. How does your client looks like? So meaning you need to understand your target market. That's a technical word. But in this generation, I prefer to use, you need to understand your tribe. Okay? How do you talk to people? You need to understand what language they use, what humor works for them, what value they need. Because again, like what you've said, Even if you have everything sorted out, you're a good speaker, you have created like an impactful color palette, a nice content, that very dynamic. But if that is not what your tribe need, then there's a big disconnection. You need to understand what they need, how you will help them. Again, going back to our three major points: who you are, what you do, and what you offer. You can only get those down if you understand your tribe, the people around you. Intent comes before content. Remember that. In anything that you will create, you need to understand why, who, when, and your tribe is a big part of that question. So you need to understand.
Well, it would be great. We could do a masterclass on that another time, because we've invested huge amounts of time talking to the people that we work with. In fact, I had two of them at my house the other day. I'd never met them before. James Peters and Richard Chaitley. We did a podcast with them. We made a film about them as well, and really just getting to know them and understand a little bit more about them. In fact, we called the podcast My Perfect Avatar.
Wow.
Because those are the people I want to talk to. Because if you try and talk to everyone, I can tell you, no one's going to listen. If you know who you're talking to and you get your messaging right, and it's, not everyone's going to pay attention, but these elements are so important. And again, I always knew this, but working with you really just made me look at it with a fresh pair of eyes and understand the importance and the significance of it.
And Pete, I just want you to talk about, our latest project, and this is connected to your brand, because this is a perfect example. And we're not pitching anything, guys. Everyone that is in Zoom and on Clubhouse, the reason why I want Pete to highlight this new project is because it's an example of understanding our tribe, understanding how to help the people around us, and the message and the style of communication. So, Pete, feel free.
Yeah. So, this has been. Sometimes I fail to acknowledge the impact of the journey that I've been on and how that could be inspiring to people. I don't really talk about myself too much. What I've done is what I've done, but what I've done is what a lot of people would like to have done. Having written 20 books, many of those published in multiple languages around the world, having been on television, had my own TV show. I was on television pretty much every other day for about 10 years. And, all the athletes I've worked with, world Olympic champions, being what some people would call being famous. But for me, I didn't set out to be famous, to sell company for a lot of money. And again, I'm not saying this to try and impress anyone, but just to impress upon you that I've had something which a lot of people want. Now, I don't know what everybody wants, but I think people often want impact. That's all I've ever wanted, impact. Recognition is massively overrated in my eyes. What do you do when people recognize you? What difference does that make? I want impact. So, the story, as some of you know, in December last year, my mum was diagnosed with lung cancer. I just thought I need to do something because I couldn't help her in the way I wanted to. So I designed this program. We launched it in January this year, and it's been amazing. We've had 7,000 people sign up to a program, mainly through Clubhouse. A lot of those people would have gone through to Instagram. A lot of people have signed up through Instagram. We've shared the stories. There's loads of testimonials on our Instagram of people talking about how amazing this 30-day program is. But what was really interesting is 7,000 people, 3.5% of people completed it. 3.5. And that's actually probably pretty good for a 30-day program, but that's not good enough for me. So it's like, what we're going to do. So we talked to our team, of which Jan, we're business partners, and I've talked to you about this and said, Jan, what I want to do is this. So we're going to launch something else, which is what's called the Start One, Stop One Challenge. So we've already told people we're launching this in January. We've asked people to pre-register for it. And it's an opportunity to get coached by me using Instagram, using obviously Clubhouse. But what we're doing is we're building a tribe. So we're going to have profile pictures for people that are on the Start One, Stop One challenge as we build a tribe. I've always built tribes. I've got a tribe. If I went live, like I do every morning on Clubhouse at 6:00, I'd say my tribe. It's not my tribe. It's our tribe. I'm just like the head of the tribe, but I'm happy for anyone else to come ahead and, it's not all about me, right? But it's all about me if I want to make it about others. And well, this is something we want to show people. We want to show, how did we do it? Because if we did it, you can do it. You want to build a tribe. You got to understand your tribe. You got to know what your tribe wants. And I know that my tribe, they want to improve themselves. They want to make breakthroughs. So I'm so excited to let this unfold and for people to see what it is that we're doing. So yeah.
Love that. Love that. And guys, I've seen people transform their lives. Suicidal people that were given hope, kids in Africa that never had a chance to sleep on a bed. I've seen them firsthand with new mattresses, pillows, bed frames, and those are the product of a solid brand. But it's not about that. It's about making an impact, like what Pete said. And you can only do that if you understand your tribe, the people around you. You know their needs and how to address that. You may not have the answer. And this is what I love about Pete. He may not have the answer or the solution for what they need, but he can definitely connect you to people that can give that solution. So again, guys, that's how powerful your brand need to understand the tribe and the messaging and the voice.
Well, it's not just your voice, it's also the voice of the people that are in your clan, let me just share this with you, because look, we're all in this story making business, and I'm happy that I have people talking about my brand. This is on one of our pages. Just listen to this.
So I'm definitely more accountable. I show up a lot more. And yeah, I guess I'm just more serious about my goals and my dreams in my life now, because I now understand what it really takes and what it really is about because of MI365. In my opinion, the number one vehicle that I've seen to get you from where you are to where you want to be, with all the assistance you need, with the inspiration, with the motivation, the structure, everything is in place for you to go ahead and achieve it, as long as you're willing, which is obviously one of the most important parts. You have to be willing.
So I'm going to talk about that guy who just said that, because he's actually in the room on Clubhouse. Let's just listen to one other person.
I'm so much more focused. I'm more focused on where the business is going, how I am more disciplined, because I am definitely acting on what I need to do rather than how I'm feeling. So much more is getting done, but I'm more clear about where I want to go and where I want to take the business. It's helped me connect to who I am and who I want to become. It's made me feel so much more powerful and believe in myself more. It is an investment in you that you will take forward into the rest of your life with you. It's absolutely one of the most valuable things I've done for myself.
So it's interesting because, I wasn't thinking that we would talk about that, but the reason why it's so important, because as we're talking about this second point around having a clear voice, it's not just your voice, it's what people are saying about you. And yeah, go on. Sorry, carry on.
No, I totally agree. Again, having a successful brand, it's not what you say it is, it's what the people around you say about it. So,
but where you've helped me is you've taken those testimonials and they're on, but we've put the visuals around it. So then it speaks louder than it would just sound if I just posted it. It is the little things which kind of make, a really big difference. And, what's interesting is that the first person was Mr. Dan Jukes, right? Who's on the stage now, who I know has been talking to you, because he's become so much more. He's built a brand and he's got a big following. And I've been talking to him and say, Dan, you need to take that to the next level, so that when people hear you or they find you, that they then look at that and they immediately identify with that. They buy into what your image is. They buy into your video. I know it seems kind of crazy in some respects, but that's kind of what's needed. If you want them to come on a journey with you, then you better show up and put out what is going to be attractive to them, right? Otherwise, why should they follow you? But anyway, let's move on. When we talk about showcasing your brand, this is the third point, right? So we've talked about focusing on visuals. We've talked about having a clear voice, and now also the voice of the people who talk about you, your customers. And now let's just talk about showcasing your brand. What do you mean by that?
So this is the part that you highlight the areas of expertise, your expertise as a brand. You mentioned Dan Jukes. He's a very awesome human being. My respect for his expertise is, way up there. And I was given an opportunity to talk to him and to know the intent behind the content, and he really have this desire to share values in about metaverse, cryptocurrency, but in renewing the mindset, having a perfect mindset that he is in the position of doing so. And it's not enough for us to just share values in terms of content or speak about it on Clubhouse. People, your tribe needs to know your expertise. They need to know and they need to see what you can offer, who you are. And because there's a lot of gurus out there, and there's a lot of experts in this generation. And the only thing that could lessen the count is for people that are looking for answers to see, are they authentic or not? And it's not going to be easy. There are people that are sharing content, but they're not expert. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're not bashing them. But imagine if you are looking to upscale your business and you are looking for answers, and you will end up with those accounts. Worse, if you invest money, it would really hurt you, and it will really hurt your business. So, in terms of lighten up the journey, we as a brand should start to showcase what we do as an expert, not bragging, but just sharing who we are, what we do. And for example, Pete, you are a life coach and an international ultrapreneur. So that's an overview of what the people can get. Now that is a support for all those content being shared. It's what we call consistent and cohesive. That gives an idea to our tribe that yes, that's the reason why he goes out, talks to people about having and transforming a life, because he is a life coach. And that is why he brings business to the next level, because he is an ultrapreneur. It works hand in hand. You cannot talk about growing, for example, you cannot talk about growing a social media account and you're not even growing your own. You're not even an expert. So, it just needs to have that cohesive feel.
When you're talking, there's so many other things which come to mind around when you're showcasing yourself. You want the right people to be attracted to you, to feel like, oh, I like what he's saying, I like what he's doing, as they start to see your life. So you see me present, but we've captured this so well with other people like Patty Dolbovolsky. I see the impact that you've had with her. She's an international speaker. She's a visual creator. Yet she needed
speaker that got like more than 4 million views. Wow.
Yeah. And you've really just helped kind of make those simple little modifications. So it's all cleaner actually when you look at what she's doing. It's that little bit more thought out. But also I think absolutely essential, which is what's behind the words. It's the space that you're coming from when you're speaking. And I sometimes feel that I could probably speak in a language which doesn't make any sense. And people would still go, I don't know what this guy's saying, but I really like where he's coming from. And that's what people need now more than any. There's never been a more important time for us to decide, as we've always said, what we are, what we offer, what we do, what we offer, who we're becoming, and let that person shine through. You be your brand.
And Pete, we just need to be specific. There's a lot of clutter online, people that say too much about themselves. And again, yes, it's your brand, but it's not for you. It's for the people. You are given a blessing to help people. So, you need to be specific. What do you do? And what can you offer? Simply as that. There's a lot of people out there that I'm a technical level branding something, and I can transform you from the internal to the external. And that's good. But They don't speak that language. They're not experts, because if they were, they wouldn't be booking a call and spending time with you. They don't give a toot. But you are in the position to help them, right? So be specific. Showcase your expertise, not to brag, but to really make an impact and bring them one step closer to their success.
Yeah, well, that's what you do so well. You really do that so well. So we've got 2 more points to cover off here. So first off is simplifying the value, right? Which is all about providing value, right? And I think I must be one of, I don't know, I do not want to compare myself to other people, but I don't think many people offer the amount of value that I do, you know, and I don't do it because I just do it because I like to. I like to offer value to people. And why do you think that's so important, to go above and beyond? Because some people think I'm crazy. Some people say, I know some people in my space who have told me, why would you give away a 30-day program? Why would you give it away? Well, why not? That's my choice. That's how I feel good about giving value to people. I think people have been oversold to all the time, and it's nice to be just genuine, authentic. But that's what I do. I'm not telling anyone what they should do. But Jan, from your point of view and your experience of spending so much time in the world of what you do, why do you think it's important for people to give value and to simplify that value?
All right. So, giving value is another thing. Simplifying value, that's a whole new different thing also. So let's focus on simplifying value. There's a lot of, valuable content out there, and it's too much. You need to simplify it, like nuggets of learning that could be easy to consume by your tribe, because it's a fast-paced world. Believe it or not, it is, and it's not gonna slow down any moment now. We're entering the metaverse, and actually, Dan Duke said we are already on the metaverse. So it's just gonna evolve faster than ever. You need to give the value that you have, the value that you created, to your tribe in a nuggets, a tidbits of learning that would be easy for them to consume. And what are those in a tangible form? Those are tips. Start making tips based on your expertise. How to be like 5 like that, 3 tips to transform this. Things like that would benefit them in their journey. It sounds cliche, but it really makes a difference. If you're starting a business, tips like that could really help you. It's not the totally solution, but it's something that you can use as you start your journey. Facts, recommendations. If you're a brand and you have ample expertise and experience, you are in a position to recommend what social media channels to follow, like what books really made an impact, what podcast channels to consume. Those are things that could really transform your tribe as they continue their life.
Yeah, and all of this needs a plan, right? I really, you can put out random content, which I did for a long time. I didn't really think about it. Now I'm like, everything is really thought out. Not to the point where we don't put out stuff sometimes because it's topical. I was on the news the other day, so we obviously made a little video about that. We weren't planning to. I was asked to speak on the news about how doctors are being encouraged in the UK by the National Health Service to offer exercise and therapy to people. So you've got to maximize that opportunity. Actually, I couldn't even believe that 7.3 million people in the UK are on antidepressants. I didn't even know that. So I've got to put content out there. I've got to put stories out there. I'm still myself, I always want to be myself. It's really hard when you're trying to be something different, and people, I think that's why a lot of people burn out on social media, because it's so much more fun. You've thought this all out, and you can do all of this on your own. There's no question about it. None of this is rocket science. It is great where you get to build a little team around this and put a plan together, because that's why we've had success, because we've had a plan and we've worked the plan and we've stuck to the plan.
Simplify. We've adjusted it here. Simplify it. Be specific, simplify it. Don't overcomplicate things. You're an expert. You have a treasure. You want to change people's lives. Give them something tangible and easy to consume. Straight to the point, direct. Give that blessing. Give that value. Simplify it.
So before we talk about the last point and then we open the room up, establish a strong digital footprint. You can see on Clubhouse now, I've actually just posted a link, and we just had a link up on our website. I've just replaced that link with our Start One, Stop One challenge. See what we do if you want. If you're curious enough to see what someone like myself has done in the space of coaching, with your curious mind, have a look. I think I'm a great example of what you can do. After years of making mistakes, doing things, I wish I hadn't done that. And then you can also take a look at that. And if you want to see our 30-day program, just DM me the word Kickstart. That's free. You can check it out. You can kind of see, how does this person operate? What are they doing? Because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't. So let's talk about the last point here is establishing a strong digital footprint. What do you mean by that?
We touched this earlier while we're having a conversation. In this crowded industry, people need to see the authentic you, and we hear this a lot. And it's very complicated thing to do, right? But again, we're an advocate of simplicity and being specific. So Instagram as a visual platform is something that could, not fill the void of authenticity, but, it's a step closer. So we need to utilize this platform to showcase what we do, who we are, and what we offer in terms of content and value that we share. Again, I'm going back to Clubhouse. People that are attending Clubhouse rooms, they would listen to speakers, they would be captivated, they believe on what they heard. So they would check, okay, I want to know more. It's not always checking because they're on doubt. They want to know more because they had a taste of what that person can offer. Now, when they do jump on Instagram, they should see the same person that they heard speaking a while ago. This is a social proof. This is a digital footprint. They should see that, okay, this is what I want. This is what I heard, and I want more. On the flip side, if they don't see that, if they don't feel that, that's where the disconnection happens.
Yeah, that whole digital footprint piece. People want proof. I mean, how many times do you look at something on Amazon or Netflix and you immediately want to see what other people are saying about it? We want proof. We want, before we buy into something or someone, we want to know. We want evidence.
Because of that, I remembered back in my advertising days, the power, and you know this because you were in media, the power and the authority is in those three major strongholds, TV, radio, and print ads. People are following. They dictate what's the trend, what's the new thing, everything. That's where the power lies. But now in this generation and what it is to come, that power and authority were given to the people. So you cannot mandate that. You cannot, order them what to do. So how would you get them to trust you and support you? By showing who you really are, that authentic checker, that digital footprint.
So guys, thank you for listening. We've been talking about how to make your brand stand out on Instagram. We've been talking about focusing on the visuals, having a clear voice, showcasing your brand, simplifying the value, and establishing a strong digital footprint. We're going to have some PDFs moving forward so that you guys will be able to just have and just work on this stuff on your own. If you want to work with us and be a part of our agency, then just reach out to either of us.
Thank you for being with us here on the Creative Talk Podcast. I'm your host, John Santos. Don't forget to listen and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. See you again, always.